Dolan Issa is the leader of the World Uyghur Congress. He has very recently, through his Twitter account, apologized for his conduct towards not one but several female employees. He's also blocked one of the female employees who raised the issue in the public forum. Now, this should be a matter which attracts global attention, but it hasn't. Wherever you are, welcome to another edition of My Take on China, and this is a big one. It's about an abuse of human rights. Please don't forget to do the usual: like, share, check the subscription button. Global attention is diverted away from anything which might shed a negative light on allegations of such a terrible topic as genocide. And yes, you heard that right. The fact that one of the world's leading proponents of a genocide in China has been caught engaging in, admitting to, and apologizing for his bad behavior, which could be termed an abuse of their human rights towards his female employees. But if you take a search on Google, you'll find no information about this story, or very little. Now, we can be assured that if this was a story related to a Chinese official, it would be all over Western media. But against a man, according to Wikipedia, who is designated by China as an international terrorist, it seems everything is fair play. The World Uyghur Congress has issued a statement, and they have expressed concern, as well as acknowledged and welcomed Dolan Issa's forthright apology. They have, however, not suspended him, nor have they asked for his resignation. But here's the most amazing thing. The statement was issued on the 13th of May, and more than 24 hours later, not a single mainstream media outlet has picked up on it. It's not that they might have missed this. It's all over Twitter, where they usually scroll for their news items, particularly those news items that are anti-China, anti-Russia, or reflect any US adversary in a negative light. But so far, several days after the allegations came to light, several days after the published apology, and at the moment, one day after a statement by the World Uyghur Council, there's not a word in mainstream media. So let's get something straight. This isn't Gaza we're talking about. This is a US fabricated genocide where not a single dead or mutilated body has been seen. There are no injured or dead children to be found. No photos, no video evidence, not even a proven witness statement has ever been produced as evidence, corroborated and challenged. This is as fake a genocide as is possible to find. And Mr. Issa or Issa is a necessary cog in the wheels of misinformation. Coincidentally, within a day of Dolan Issa's misbehavior coming to light, the same day as the World Uyghur Congress issued their statement on the matter, one of his acolytes, Timothy Gross, an associate professor of China studies and supporter of the Uyghur genocide narrative, has released a report suggesting that the poor people of Xinjiang are now being forced to cook and eat Han-type food, and their own cuisine is being denied to them. I live in China. I've traveled through Xinjiang several times. My last trip was in 2019. The trip before that was in 2014. Both trips were by bicycle. In one of the trips, I entered Xinjiang through the gorge known as Xinjiang, Starry Gorge, and cycled through Hami, Turpan, Urumqi, across the Tian Shan Mountains to Kyrgyz at the border of Kazakhstan. On the second trip, I flew into Urumqi and I cycled home across the Taklamakan Desert. And I left the region by traveling into Gansu and onto Dunhuang, made famous by the Buddhist grottos there. So even though I haven't been to Xinjiang for 5 years, I have many friends, both Chinese and foreign, both residents of China and overseas tourists, who have as recently as 6 months ago been there. They or I have never seen any evidence. All in all, I've traveled over 5,000 kilometers by bicycle in Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, where you stop every 20 to 40 kilometers in tiny hamlets, small villages, wayside restaurants, sleeping in the desert, several times on the floor of Uyghur restaurants, and I've not seen a single shred of evidence that there is oppression, persecution, or, heaven forbid, a genocide going on. I've eaten in many Uyghur establishments. I've been welcomed into their homes. I've had meals sitting on their big beds in their homes and on their yards outside their houses. Now, some might say, I missed all the signs, but is that likely? I've drunk their tea, eaten their dried fruit, I've drank their wine and even their beer. Wusu beer is quite nice. I had conversations with many of them. I've seen them dance. I've heard them sing. I've listened to their music. But here's the amazing thing. I don't need to go to Xinjiang to do this. I can go to any one of a dozen Uyghur restaurants in the city where I live, 4,931 kilometers from Xinjiang. I know this distance because it's tattooed on my arm. A memory of that 2014 cycle trip. I also have experience with interview techniques. I was trained in recognizing body language by the British police. I spent years conducting interviews of people who do have something to hide. And I've met hundreds of Uyghurs, both in Xinjiang and in every other city I've ever traveled through because I like their restaurants. I've never heard a complaint. I've made complaints about the enhanced security that they live with, but their reply is always the same. It's safer than before. I've met their wives as they work in the background of their husbands' restaurants. I've played with their kids as I have my wushu beer and wait for my lamb. In other words, I know the hundreds of people from that region whom I have met and come to know are not telling me lies. But now I and the rest of the world knows that Dolan Issa is a liar. I honestly don't know if he's genuinely sorry for his behavior or sorry that he was caught. And to be honest, I don't care. What I do care about are the millions of people he and his lies have disadvantaged in Xinjiang. But now there's others to feel sorry for, the girls and ladies, most of whom are probably devout Muslims, who have to put up with a man who admits that under stress he behaved badly, and who has not as yet been asked to stand down from his position of leadership. How can an organization which lies about human rights but says they stand for them accept someone inside their ranks with an admitted record of harassment and abuse? No wonder the mainstream media don't want to touch this story. If we were ever to witness a media lie by omission, this must be one of the biggest. Thanks once again for watching my take on China, and don't forget those usual things. Like, share, and please check that subscribe button. See you next time. Bye for now.